Okay, morning, y'all. Today we are going to continue talking about geography stuff. The 5 themes of geography. We're going to work through these 5 themes in this video segment together. And then once we get through the 5 themes, because they're kind of important in every geography class, then we'll just start doing cultural geography stuff, human geography stuff. Whatever you want to call it. It's either one's the same class basically. So then we'll start studying more about people and the cultures that they exist within and what culture is, why it is the way it is, and stuff like that. So once we get there, it should get a little bit more precise, I suppose. In any case, we'll get started on the lesson. I'll try to keep it short. I think 20 minutes is kind of long for these videos. So we're gonna try and do like 15 minutes, I guess, 10 minutes at a time. Maybe we'll go 20 minutes, but you guys can always pause and walk away and come back if it's getting too long in the video. I'm trying to think of some other ideas we can, some activities we can do. Maybe like some kind of geographical video game or something like that, or an interactive type Google Maps activity or something like that, just so that it's not just watching these videos. But if you guys got any ideas, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be looking on my own in my free time. Anyways, let's get started. So I downloaded this from my other computer, and I'm trying to make it so that it is a full screen. There we go. Okay, so yesterday we left off with absolute location and relative location, longitude and latitude. We talked about the hemispheres. Basically, the big thing you should take away from yesterday is that latitude lines go east to west, but they measure the distance from north to south. And the major latitude line is the equator. I'm going to ask you about the equator today. The equator and the prime meridian. The equator is 0 degrees on latitude. And the prime meridian, as you can see in this slide, is 0 degrees for longitude, which goes north-south, but measures east to west. The prime meridian and the equator, they're the major lines of longitude and latitude. The equator belongs to latitude, and the prime meridian belongs to longitude. And as you remember, no doubt, you can use these degrees and these ones to create a grid system over the world, and then any place within that grid falls within these degree markers. So, like we covered yesterday, 30 degrees north, you go north on the map, as I marked a little N up here, 30 degrees north, and then 15 degrees west, which you would then look at west, which I made a little W here, boom. And as we go for, there's there's more measurements once you get smaller, obviously, because you got to be able to completely pinpoint things. So they get smaller, the degrees get smaller and smaller as the map gets smaller. Or the measurements get smaller as the map gets smaller. Whoops, I didn't mean to exit that full screen mode. We'll do that one more time. Okay, so that's going over yesterday's stuff. I'm gonna ask you a question about the, sorry to keep flipping through these slides like crazy. I'm gonna ask you a question about the equator and if it belongs to latitude, if it is a line of latitude, and I'm gonna ask you about the prime meridian and if that is a line of longitude, and vice versa. Remember that. Write it down if you want to. Now we're on to movement. The theme of movement is how are people linked together? How do they move together? The link would be the movement. Movement describes how people in one area contact people in other areas. So remember that. If you got a notebook or on your computer, you can write this in Word. Take notes if you want to. That way you don't have to reference back to the video or the slides. But another question I'm going to ask you after this video is movement describes what? And you'll say how people in one area contact people in other areas. So even phone, phone text message, the text message moves, so it's movement. What can move? Goods. That would be, obviously the semi. They're loading goods, they're moving them across the country. That way they can load up stores so you can buy stuff. Money can move. If I transfer money into your bank account, or if I purchase a good from you, that's movement of money. People and their personal stuff, when they run, they go on vacation. If you move, if you decide to pick up and move to New York City, you're going to bring some stuff with you, I imagine. You wouldn't move without anything. So that all goes with. And ideas. Ideas, that's kind of the idea, like I was talking about earlier, the text message type situation is, that's spreading ideas. Social media is a really good way of showing how ideas can move across the world so quickly now compared to how they used to. Someone could come up with an idea in China and we're talking about it in the United States later that day instead of 6 months later like it would have been in the past. How can things move? Well, this is pretty easy. I mean, airplanes, satellites, boats, your mouth, computers, text messages, telephones, the internet, any way of just getting ideas, people, places, or things out and across the world. So through movement, we can connect all of our world together. This is called globalization. This is another question I'm going to ask you. Globalization. What is globalization? It is bringing the world together through movement. A lot of the globalization of our world is what I was talking about earlier, where you can get an idea from someone from China almost instantaneously, where it used to be very far apart and long distances, where the world was not globalized. When we are interdependent on each other for our economy, cultural, politics, socialization, and technology. And like in a world of globalization, if China's economy crashes, then our economy crashes because we need to buy so many economic goods from China. So now we are interdependent. It used to be in a non-globalized world, if China's economy crashed, it wouldn't matter in America because we had our own system. But now we've merged our systems together, and so globalization has made us interdependent. So anything on this slide will work for that answer when you get to it. Here's an example of globalization is some McDonald's in Asia. This looks like this is Arabic writing. I'm not sure. It's at least similar to it in some way. So there's McDonald's in Arab parts of the world. There's McDonald's um, in like Southeast Asia, China areas. There's McDonald's in Russia. There's McDonald's in Africa. So McDonald's has become globalized. It's even in South America too. So it's all over the world. And their menu changes all over the world. When I was in Italy, you could not get a Big Mac at a McDonald's. They only have weird Italian version of McDonald's food. That was quite sad. Another globalization, an example of globalization, this funny little comment, Happy Labor Day, USA, made in China. So the Chinese don't get Labor Day. They don't celebrate Labor Day. So it's kind of a joke, I guess. That looks like the Pepsi logo, kind of, or something. Here's a Pizza Hut, KFC, and this looks like European plates on these cars, so it's probably in Europe somewhere. That looks like Asian script, so it's probably in Asia somewhere. And I don't know, maybe Russia or something. I'm not sure what that is. It's a Nike symbol or a Nike ad, but I don't know. I don't even know where I pulled that from, to be honest. This is just another example how everything's connected. Business is connected to technology, which connects us to culture. It's all intertwined. Okay, so we've got for movement. How long is this video at so far? Because if it's really short, we're going to move on past movement too. 12 minutes. Yeah, we can get. I think we can get through region. Nah, we won't go through region. We'll just call it a day here. I don't want to make it too long on y'all. So we'll call it a day on movement there. The big takeaways you guys should get from this is that globalization is a byproduct of movement and of the world becoming more interdependent on itself. The movement of goods has become quicker, and that has created the globalization movement, the globalization trend, if you will. We will dig more into this stuff as we get going on individual cultures and stuff. We'll talk about how they've been affected by globalization, how some people are resisting globalization and trying to fight against it. A lot of people think it is killing many cultures. Lots of languages are dying as a result of globalization, and a lot of people's customs are being forgotten. And a lot of people don't like that, so there's a lot of controversy surrounding it. But in any case, that's about all I got for you. I'll make you a little questionnaire and we'll get that posted. Thanks, y'all. And have a great day.